and the pressure is harder when you're dating black women and not other groups of women, where other groups of women tend to be more hypergamous, it's wild to me. Not only is it wild, it's a lie, unless you're shooting out of your league.
But the lows were low. I mean, the lows were low during the regular.
We.
Hey all, welcome back to Themis and Thought. Grab your coffee, water, tea. This is not coffee, water, or tea. Whatever you're drinking, go and get that. Today, we are going to be talking about submission. Pause. I am writing a companion piece with this video because I heard the feedback and a lot of people say my videos are too dense with theoretical ideas. So instead of trying to put it all in this video, there will be a link in the description to a blog post. Hopefully it's a short post kind of summarizing my feelings on the idea of submission, as opposed to kind of using these videos as a way to express how I feel. I will have the theoretical piece in a blog post. So there you go. Hopefully that works. So we're going to start with a video from a gentleman who is going to be talking about how difficult it is to date, and he's going to say date in Atlanta. Before we do that, let's find out what this man wants, right? What is he looking for? And here's a hint, it's not marriage. So let's hear what he's looking for before we get into any kind of mess.
So let me ask you a question. Because you said the person I'm dating. If marriage is not the goal when you're dating, well, why are you dating?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. I think that, you always want some level of companionship.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But just, that those trials, those 30, 60 days, it just seems like we don't make it past the 60 days. It's like, as soon as they start charging, it's like it's time to go.
You get a free trial, 30, 60 days.
So I don't know. I haven't been able to make it past that 60-day trial.
So he says he's dating, and in his dating, marriage is not the goal. Girl, what is the goal? He says companionship. Now, for me, companionship sounds like, we know what you mean, girl. We know what you mean. So he wants companionship, some level of companionship. The very next question from me would be, what is this level of companionship you seek? Because you just saying some level of companionship would not work for me, but I am not the interviewer. He says a 30 to 60 day free trial runs out and then he's out. What do you mean free trial? Are you lightening women and access to women? Do women even understand that these men don't like them? And I don't mean this in a sexuality kind of way. Do these men really like women? That is going to be the underpinning of the entirety of this conversation that we're having. It is important to ask this question because the question again, does this man really like women? Again, has nothing to do with sexuality. But it's fundamentally about whether or not you see women as agentic creatures, as agentic beings who have more to give to you outside of, oh, I just want you to submit. So that's kind of where we're going. The same man is going to go on to talk about how entitled women are. Let's play this video and let's talk.
Your dating experience to where you're now like,
It's a lot of pressure on black men, specifically dating black women. And I love black women.
We'll get to the love bit in a moment. There's a lot of pressure on black men to date black women or dating black women. Is there not a lot of pressure on black men when they're dating other groups of women? Also, when it comes to this pressure you speak of, is the pressure in the room with us? No, I am joking, but I'm not really joking. Do you see the pressure? I don't see the pressure. I feel like Dora the Explorer at this point. You know when Dora is looking for the bridge and the bridge is in front of him? The difference here is whatever we're looking for is not actually in the room at all. So we're looking for this pressure. Where's this pressure? What is this pressure? He's going to go on to talk about this, but I need to know what the pressure is. The idea that there is any kind of pressure when it comes to black men dating black women is odd to me because of what Ralph Richard Banks says and all the research in this area says about black women having to settle because we as men do not go to school, the unemployment rate is high, costing the government $50 billion, the prison industrial complex. The idea is even about the middle class and how getting married to black women increases our chances of getting into the middle class. I mean, I talked about education, but specifically literacy rate, the lack of emotional intelligence. Like, I am not sure where the pressure is around what you need to have to date black women. And the idea is very simple. Again, Ralph Richard Banks in his book, It's Marriage for White People, it has nothing to do with the namesake, but it does reflect very poorly when men who do not have to bring much in terms of a relationship still complain about the pressure of how they have to show up for said relationship. In truth, I think most sociologists who engage in relationship discourse in any meaningful way kind of agree that black women consistently have to settle for black men because black women consistently choose black men, but we as men haven't been able to climb the socioeconomic ladder to provide for black women any comfortable, meaningful lives. So I think it's an odd thing to say there is a quote unquote pressure on black men when it comes to dating black women. And specifically pointing out dating black women highlights something, again, very specific about black women that doesn't exist for other groups of women. So my question here is quite simply, is there no pressure when you're dating other groups of women? Because that's an interesting discussion. Okay, let's go back, because I don't want to take too long on this.
And I love black women. Social media and the culture has put a lot of pressure on us.
So he says, and I love black women. For you to be up there speaking like this feels very disparaging. So again, I'm going to ask, is this love in the room with us? Because I don't see love. All I see is an opportunity to drag being taken, and you were dragging. So I don't see this love. But let him continue to discuss social media. Let's hear what social media have y'all doing out here in these streets.
Social media and the culture has put a lot of pressure on us. This could be just based on environment. When I moved to Atlanta, women here are very entitled. And listen, I'm not blaming anybody, so I don't want this to turn into.
When you say entitled, though, what does entitled mean?
I'll say financially entitled. I feel extreme pressure. And I get hit on by white women. I get hit on by all kinds of women.
Social media put a lot of pressure on us as men. I don't see this pressure. Does this pressure come from Tyler Perry telling black women that they need to settle for men who can only pay the light bill? Does this pressure come from Jan Levin Zion, who says you can date a bus driver? Does it come from the constant conversations happening about how women need to quote unquote lower their standards, where the standards are essentially non-existent? Or are we taking the city girls and are we pretending like this is the majority of black women? Are we pretending like the city girls represent what black womanhood requires when it comes to dating and mating relationship? Because if you do that, you're lying. Black women are the most likely to date down compared to any other race of women. So when you say it's specifically difficult when it comes to dating black women and not other groups of women, and the pressure is harder when you're dating black women and not other groups of women, where other groups of women tend to be more hypergamous, it's wild to me. Not only is it wild, it's a lie, unless you're shooting out of your league.
But the lows were low. I mean, the lows were low during the regular.
We'll get to that in a moment, because I do actually believe this is what is happening. Because he's going to talk about being in Atlanta right now. Let's hear it.
When I get hit on by black women, I immediately feel this entitlement of, I got to pay for something.
Wow.
I got to pay your rent. I got to help you with your car note immediately within 2 weeks. Or I'm just saying what I've experienced. I'm not saying that's every woman. Nowadays, if I take somebody on a date,
$400
immediately, and I don't even drink. So if she drink, that's a couple hundred. If the hookah is 45, lamb chops is 50, dessert. So by the time
Valet.
I was just getting ready to say valet. So we didn't spend $400 for me to see if you like me.
Say that again.
So it's like I'm spending. That's just the first date. You want to go out again. I didn't spend $1,000 on 3 dates just to see if you might call me back or maybe text me back.
Okay, so here's the issue. The idea that you have to pay someone rent and their car note or whatever it is upon meeting them is wild. I don't believe it. And if you do, it sounds like they don't see you. Like you say, you get hit on by a lot of women. It don't seem like these women are hitting on you. I feel like they see you as what's this phrase that Sin says? A lick. Hit a lick. Is it hit a lick or a sucker and they lick? Whatever the phrase is, that is what I'm attempting to say. So it doesn't seem like these people are like hating on you. It is wild to think that you just meet someone and you're paying their bills already. Also, spending a bunch of money on a date is seemingly an inability to come up with creative ways to get to know people. And I'm not saying to be cheap, mind you, because the moment you start complaining about the date feels like, or the money you spend on the date, feels like you should not be dating these people who require that much of you. If it is going to cause a problem for you financially, maybe you are dating out of your financial league. And I'm not saying this to be disparaging. I'm saying this for you to self-reflect. Like, you're talking about drinks, hookah, valet, thus costing you $400 per date. Sounds like you're attempting to impress women. It sounds like you are actively trying to impress women. The problem with this is if they get used to this and this is how they see you and date you, this is something you're going to have to keep up. So why pretend this is something you do or want to do when it's obviously something you don't want to engage in? This is a way you don't want to engage with these women. So why don't you just show up as your authentic self? Look, I can't afford a $400 date continuously. Therefore, I guess we're going for a walk, and whoever decides to buy it, go on that walk with you and go for that coffee date with you. Maybe in Atlanta they don't want to do it, so maybe you shouldn't be dating an Atlanta girl. I don't know. But it seems like these women don't like you for you, because a lot of women are settling for a lot less. So if they're demanding this from you, it might just kind of be a you thing. Separately, saying that you're bringing them on date for them to see if they like you feels like you don't understand what the interaction should be. No, sir, and I'm going to speak life. I'm going to speak life into you. The date is also to see if you like the other person. It goes both ways in terms of trying to figure out if you like or if they like you. So the idea that you are already just there trying to make them see if they like you is wild. And that's part of the problem. It sounds like you're trying to sell yourself. And you should, but you're not also trying to see if you like the other person based on this conversation. It's wild. It's useless. And if you're going to complain about the money you're spending, maybe you're going way above your budget. I don't know, maybe you need a budget for dating and you go figure it out. But remember, this is the same guy who just said that he does not want to get married and is obviously not looking for anything serious. He just wants companionship. Well, you're going to have to pay these women for this companionship, whatever level it is, because the ladies interviewing you did not ask you to tell us what level it is that you want this companionship. So it sounds like you got to pay. You can take them to go to pottery class, sushi making class, poetry. I don't know what people are doing in Atlanta, but there is a lot of things that you can do that doesn't cost $400 per date. And it sounds like you're not trying to be creative, but I'm also not trying to stop these women's bag. So let me stop talking. I will start by saying this. Maybe you're dating out of your league. So now we get to submission. I started with this because these men are complaining that dating is too much, they can't do this, they can't do that, women want too much, they're complaining about the bare minimum. And in truth, I think the complaint is more precisely about their inability to afford a very specific kind of lifestyle that they're attempting to project onto women and trying to get these quote-unquote Instagram baddies. And you gotta pay for that. Like, it is actually what it is. Like, it feels mean to say that, but it is what it is. Listen to this foolishness right here.
5 things men shouldn't have to do when dating, married, or in a relationship.
So he said he's going to give 5 things men shouldn't have to do when dating or when they're married or in a relationship. Dating, married, and in a relationship. These are 3 completely different stages, apparently, of a relationship or of getting to know people or of intimacy or whatever you want to call it. Different stages. But this man have some rules for us. Remember, this man, first guy complaining about having to pay so much money to date someone and get to know them. Now this man has rules for women, 5 rules for women about what men should not have to do. All right, let's hear it, sir. Give it to us.
Number 1, wash his own clothes. If you at your man's house and you see that his clothes need to be washed, take the initiative and wash them.
R, hear me out, R, leave him alone. I think it is a red flag to walk into someone's house and know that their clothes is dirty. The fact that you could possibly know by walking into someone's house that their clothes is dirty means that it's either smelly, you can smell the clothes, and the clothes is all over the place and not in where you would put your clean clothing. The fact is, if you walk into someone's house and you can tell by walking into their home that their clothes is dirty, and your very next thought is, as a woman dating this man, this is your first time, second time, third, going over there, I am going to take all this man's clothes and go wash it for him, you know what you're signing up for. At that point, you know exactly what you're, leave. I wish my child would. I wish any woman I know would go into someone's house, and by going in, you know that their clothes is dirty and there's a bunch of dirty clothing, and you decide, instead of leaving him and his dirty clothes, to go and clean it and wash. Because if a man don't know how to wash his clothes, and even if he does know, but he doesn't wash and clean his clothing, why are you there? You are living in filth. I can only imagine the amount of filth for someone to recognize that your clothing is dirty by coming into your house. Absolutely not. If you decide to stay there and wash his clothes, you know what you're signing up for, because absolutely not. Why would you do something like that? The first guy was talking about how women in Atlanta is entitled. This man, looking the way he looks, coming online with this much audacity is the height of entitlement. This is what entitlement is. What do you mean if you're dating a woman, you shouldn't be washing your clothes? Like, ew, like, have you seen you? I don't want to do this, but like I kind of do. Like, have you looking like the Mucinex? Whatever. All right, let's go to number two. Let's go to number two, sir.
Number 2, clean his house. Regardless of the fact if you live with him or not, you should still clean his house. It's just something about a woman's touch that hits different when your house is being cleaned by a woman.
Are you paying this woman's bills? Because if you don't live together, she's just coming over there cleaning your house. If you do this, again, you know what you're signing up for because, in truth, everything I said about washing the clothing applies very directly down here when he's talking about cleaning his. You need. If this man wants a maid, let this man go hire a maid. Like, what do you mean? If you want a maid, sir, go forth and hire a maid. A lot of people are hiring. What do you mean if you're dating this woman, you shouldn't have to wash your clothes, you shouldn't have to clean your house? Okay, so like I get angry at him specifically demanding this, looking the way he looks. And no, it wouldn't be better if he was more attractive doing this because like it's still wrong, but like, how do I put this? It's more palatable, it's more digestible. You can metabolize it easier if he didn't look the way he talking about a woman's touch. I don't think you know what a woman's touch feels like. I'm so sorry. Look, do you know what a dental floss is? Do you know what a water pick is? Do you know what a toothbrush is and a toothpaste? And also, do you know what mouthwash is? Because the way you're talking, it doesn't feel like you know what these things are. I don't believe you know what it feels like to be touched by, like, are you looking for a companion or a maid? An unpaid maid, by the way. Let's get to the dusty number 3, because I'm curious. I'm curious, not about what he's saying, because I've already heard this, but like, I'm curious to see how and why someone would be able to have this much confidence to come on camera and say this. Like, I feel like this might be parody. It might be parody. Whoever sent this to me, girl, no. But also, thank you. And is this submission? Because absolutely not. Let's hear it.
Number 3, cook his food. We should come home to a home-cooked meal every night. If y'all don't live in the same household, take him a plate. Number 4.
Before we get to number 4, cook him a food. Every day, he should get a home-cooked meal. And if you don't live together, she should bring him a plate. So this every night, do you work? Do you work? Does he pay your bills? Does he pay for everything? Can he afford to pay for everything? Talking about he wants food. This is actually toxic and disgusting in the worst ways possible. You don't live together. I'm assuming he's paying all the bills if he's demanding this. And even if he is, how dare you talk about, oh, I want food every single night? I'm willing to go ahead and say this man is just trolling. Like, I think he just want to get under people's skin. And he did. He did get under my skin. So let's continue.
As for intimacy, your number 1 duty as a woman is to please your man. We shouldn't have to ask for love, intimacy, and affection.
Your number 1 duty as a woman is what now? Y'all have to be tired. Women, you have to be tired. Like, at this rate, there's absolutely no amount of money in the world that is worth any of this. No amount of money can be worth your dignity. For someone looking like he looked to come up on camera, sit there and tell you that your number 1 duty as a woman is to please them. The funny thing is they don't even have money. That's the part that's like really annoying because even if they did, it wouldn't justify anything. But like women do not have to try and pray to date the boss. They can be the boss. So what do you offer? Like, okay, separately, more importantly, to the substance of what is being said, if you have to beg for intimacy, it might mean she's not attracted to you and does not want to be intimate with you. Intimacy generally comes naturally when people are attracted to each other. So if you feel like you have to beg for intimacy, for a touch, a tender hug, a kiss, it might just kind of mean they're not that into you. I mean, ask for permission generally, but like when you're in a relationship and dating someone and you have to beg for them to show you any kind of affection. It's time to wrap it up, girl. to wrap it up, you have an ugly personality to match your... You know what? Never mind. Let's hear the last one.
When we leave to go to work in the morning every day, our sacks should be empty. Number 5, ask for peace and quiet. We've been fighting and dealing with the world all day. The last thing we want to do is come home and argue and fight with our woman.
What world are you fighting? When you say you have to deal with the world, again, I'm assuming the woman is a stay-at-home wife or a girlfriend, a stay-at-home girlfriend. Because if she has to work, she too is dealing with the world. What do you mean you want peace when you come home? Be the peace. You both need peace when you come home. I'm just trying to figure out what world you're fighting. If we are fighting the world, we have lost. We have lost the fight to the world. So I don't want to keep this on too long, so let me just get through the hymn, because we have more videos to get through.
Ladies, men are very simple. Keep our bellies full, keep our balls empty, and be quiet. Free game.
Keep our bellies full, that empty, and be quiet. Again, the question here, this is all under the idea of submission, mind you. Do you like women? I'm not asking about your sexuality. I'm fundamentally asking if you like women. No one asked you, Mr. Mucinex Ambassador, or shout out to Erica De Niro, what your thoughts are. If you want peace, what are the 5 things women should do and what men shouldn't do? Nobody asked you any of this, right? And you can sit up there and dream the dream of the dreamers. But this is not going to happen to you, girl. Ain't nobody about to sit around and do any of this for you. So I don't know what man you have in your mind imagining women doing this for. Let me just let you know it's not you. And that's an unfortunate reality because a lot of attractive people, men, a lot of attractive men, get to say a lot of disgusting things and get away with it. Unfortunately for you, I'm not finishing that sentence. Not finishing that sentence. But I don't think these men like women. And you know what, let me play this, because I do believe this fundamentally, that a lot of these men do not like women.
There's so many men that don't like women, but they're sexually unattracted to men, and they have no choice but to deal with you. And they act like it, don't they? Like, these men don't like women for real. They don't bond with women. They don't emotionally connect with women. They prefer to be around men. They respect men. They get along with men. They see men as their equals. They do not view you as it. But the only reason they're with you is because they're not sexually attracted to the men. If it wasn't for sex or power, they wouldn't be with you. I need y'all to watch out for these men. Actually, inquire about whether this man actually like women. Not if you're heterosexual. My question to you is, do you actually like women?
And the answer to that for a lot of these men, including the one that spoke, I would say is no. Now, I think there is a need, maybe. A lot of you might say, Themis, this is not true. A lot of women are waking up and they're agentic creatures and they're not a quote-unquote mule or mattress in the way that these people talk about it. And yeah, no, absolutely not. And here's why. And this is a video emblematic of where the culture is for me. So this is just a response to all of you saying, women don't want to be subservient and they're leading. No, I wish that were true, but this is what is happening now.
Submit to you. I will forever submit to you. I'll forever submit to you, Miles. I'll forever respect you, Miles. I'll forever honor you, Miles, as the head of our home and no other. There is no other, there is no one, no plans of hell will ever prosper in our marriage and will ever hold me not to be a wife that is a Proverbs 31 woman. I will become that woman that builds the home as I follow you, as you follow Christ. That is the only thing that we will do in our household. And I promise and I vow that in heaven they hear. On earth I declare and decree, I shall be a submissive wife unto you as we continue to do this work of God. Because to us, you know, this is beyond just love. This is about God. This is about kingdom.
Go ahead. I will always play that video. I am so sorry. You all have to be reminded of that video. Now, hearing the accent, Akon came to mind. Now, Akon went to talk to Joe Biden about submission, and I'm just so annoyed. He's talking about people wanting to be treated as kings and you should go to Africa because Africa has women who are going to treat you like king. So the word dusty comes up a lot, and it is a descriptor for the kinds of conversation that we are having. So here's another dusty conversation with Akon and them. It's just like, ugh.
And if we go to Africa, we talking about women. Now it's paradise, because you're not just dealing with beauty, you're also dealing with a different mentality. Like, women treat you like a king. You are like a king. They're not competing with you. They're not fighting for equality, because they understand that men and women could never be equal. They understand their roles.
They're not fighting with you. They don't want this equality thing because they understand that men and women can't be equals. Girl, they treat you like kings, and you're sending people to go to Africa to be with these women. I don't want to talk about female genital mutilation in any meaningful way because every time I talk about it, I get really disgusted and saddened. So I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm going to say that these men actually do believe that oppression is what it is that they need to do, that they need to oppress women, that women need to be beneath them and know their quote-unquote place. Where's their place? What is their quote-unquote role? What is a woman's role? It's so annoying. Then we're going to get into this, the success of women in a moment, because it feels like these men have not evolved past whatever version they believe of women existed in the 1950s. Prior to Title IX, it feels like they have not evolved, and I don't care about their evolution so much as looking at the world factually to see that you can't even compete with these, like...
To that you say?
Not a goddamn thing.
You sucker! Yo, I'm gonna go put some money in that jar. Go ahead.
I have some money going to the side for my Africa fund when I could get my shit over there.
I'm gonna go bless
when
the
I
jar
get over
early.
there,
I'm gonna call you a bunch today.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna put
He
him
went in the
over
jar
there
early.
early, yo. This guy.
No, I mean that's a matter. It's a matter of understanding.
how are those
the
roles defined there?
The roles are very defined. It's very clean. Like here, even if you say the word role to a woman here, they get offended. That's true. Just use the role. Yo, play your role. Let me play mine. Role? What the fuck you mean? Play my role? Like everybody has a role. There's infrastructure to life, and if a woman doesn't understand her position and the role that she play in life, everybody's confused. How can a man and a woman play the same exact role? Where's the balance? Right? So in Africa, it's very clear. The woman plays the role of a woman. Okay? God installed love, emotions, and compassion in a woman because as a motherly figure, those things have to be instilled.
Nurturing.
Right. This is why women catch so much feeling so quick. This is why they can endure so much pain and still be there. That loyalty, all that comes with them naturally. They think that we're treating them like shit. No,
I'm looking at the camera. I was about to say,
they
everybody,
kick his ass.
this is Mr. Akon.
Right.
And say it, and Antoine agrees.
No, but guys, at the end of the day,
I
right?
agree.
At the end of the day, it's true.
Before we get to their pushback, Akon says God gave women the ability to love and show compassion. God gave women the ability to love and show compassion. So men can't love or show compassion? Men, do you know what that means? Do you actually know what that means? Talking about that's why they catch feelings so fast. He says women can endure pain and they still will be there. So you staying there talking about your ride or die is what it's telling these men, oh, they can endure pain. Tell me this is not a toxic idea. That's why we give women so much pain, because they can endure. What? You are causing harm to people. They're sticking beside you, don't know why actually, and you're using them being there as, oh, they can endure it, let me give them more pain. Not let me be better and care for the people who show me love, but oh, they love me after all of this, let me give them more, because them loving me indicate that they can take more pain. So you're pushing these women past their breaking point because, all right, like, this is actually, like, really toxic. So these men said they have pushback. There was no pushback, but just for giggles, I won't say the first part of that. Let's hear the pushback.
So I'm going to give you a little pushback.
Now the man's
I'm going to give him
role-
some too.
I'm going to give you a pushback.
All right, so as a woman, her role is to support the man.
I agree.
The man, we are the kings and the divine of this universe. A woman can never compare to the man. They have to understand that here in America. The woman don't create life. They support the creation of life.
Damn, somebody just broke that down to me.
The man is who create life.
Every time I say it, they laugh at me.
Man, we're gods. We the ones that create life.
No, to women, I'm saying, this conversation.
Right.
I just said it to you
So,
the other day. Y'all
and
laughed
let
at
me give you an example of the science of it. A man right now can create life without a woman, but a woman can't create life without a man. If I wanted to create life right now without a woman, I would just shoot my sperm, put it in the incubator, and just give it 9 months, even maybe less with today's science, and a baby will be born. A woman can't do that. So men, we are the creators of life in actuality.
Let's stick a pin in the creators of life, because that's the conversation has just been making its rounds. Like, your role as a woman is to support a man. Girl, what? So you're a supporting character in your own life because your role is to support him. The man is the king and divine of the universe. Girl, where? What do you mean? Women can never, quote unquote, compare to a man. In what way? Because we can measure that. Are we talking about employment? Are you saying women can't compete with men in terms of employment? Do you mean education? Are you talking about socioeconomic standing? Are you talking about success? Are you talking about emotional intelligence? What measure exactly are you using to say women cannot compare to men? The last time I checked, women were not only comparing, but out competing men. The last time I checked, this new economy is such that women are excelling and we are falling behind. Last time I checked, we are in prison a lot. News flash. Your muscles are kind of pretty much useless in this economy. It's not fully useless, but until we start using our mental faculties more, we will continue to fall behind. Until we start elevating in our ability to reason and articulate the way that we feel, emotional intelligence, we will continue to fall behind. When you say women cannot measure up to men, what exactly do you mean? And what measure are you using to make this kind of statement and come out with the conclusion that you do? And thus the discussion about who creates life is wild to me. Talking about you can go in and put whatever in an incubator and create life on your own. Do it. Do it. I dare you. I dare you. Do it. Go ahead, create the life. Because Genesis doesn't actually happen for men. It happens for women. But not even women in the human species, but female, right? So the ideas around this doesn't actually apply to men. I'm concerned about what it is that Akon is talking about. I want to see this incubator. I want to see you do it. I want to know where you're getting this from. Because if this is true and men can create life without women, I feel like this is news that you need to bring to China and let them know that there. Because it is news to me. It's really big news to me. Again, the question is, do you like women? Because this feels like an attempt to degrade and step on women in order to elevate manhood. I don't know why you would need to do that if you actually believe men are the divine rulers of this world. If you fundamentally believe that, why do you have to try to flex? Because what you're flexing doesn't really show. It's like me trying to show my muscles 3 years ago. Girl, there was none to show. What do you mean? Again, do you, because I won't even say love, but do you even like women? Because you can't even give the basic respect for women around their contribution to continuing the human species. The human population comes through the woman, and you are sitting there thinking that you are the one who is giving life. I wanted to include a video, I'm not going to do this, about like reproduction and the cells multiplying to create life and the stages of life, but I don't want to do that because these men really do believe that they create some kind of life. So while these men are degrading women, women are online trying to speak life into these men in the most absurd ways possible. So let's start with this lady. I know it's not Taraji. That's messy. That's messy. It's not Taraji, girl. Let's hear this woman speak life.
If I could give a Black man an affirmation today on the spot, I would say, you don't need to prove to anybody that you're a leader or that you're masculine. You are the bar, you are the standard. Everybody looks to you already. You don't need to do all this extra boasting of trying to prove for, a spot. You got the spot. The spot's already yours. So you just need to exist and hopefully build a relationship with God because God loves you. like, I look at our journey as a people. I think we are highly blessed. We are highly favored. And there's already a magic within us. And all we have to do is connect and heal and invest in ourselves. That's your only job. That's your only journey, because generational wealth is more than money. It's generational healing and it's generational connection.
Yeah.
And you're deserving of all of that. And I want to see you have it. So if we could just love each other, and it's not about you, it's not about me, we can step outside of our ego and we can build together, I think it would just be so beautiful. So, yeah.
I have a ton of problems here. You don't have to prove yourself to be a leader. I mean, I don't disagree. You don't have to prove yourself to be a leader. You're just not going to lead. You don't prove yourself to be a leader, you're not about to lead. What do you mean? If you want to lead, you got to prove that you're a leader by virtue of your black and man who does not make you a leader, girl. Absolutely not. What do you mean you don't have to? How do we know someone can lead if they don't prove it? You just going to go by faith? Just going to follow any random black man, like, regardless of where their life is? Like, that don't make no sense. When you say we are the standard for what exactly? Like, for real, who is what standard? What are we the standard for? What spot is already ours by virtue of us just being? Because in this world, you actually do need to prove yourself. Fortunately or unfortunately. Y'all don't see how this is a problem? You don't have to prove yourself to be a leader. The spot is already yours. What spot? So these people don't have to try in your mind. They can just show up and they're good enough because they don't have to prove anything. What standard? You just need to exist. Come again. like actually come again. So y'all telling me I've been doing this wrong. Y'all telling me I've been proving myself, bettering myself, trying to help other people and show that I can do it so that I can, again, help people when all I had to do was just exist and take up space. I didn't realize. Y'all don't see how this could be crippling to men? And I usually don't say who raised these boys, because that's a response to my content. Who is raising these boys? But like, can you imagine if this lady is a mother and this is what she's telling her son? You don't have to prove yourself. All you have to do is exist. Girl, what? Like, I can tell you my mom loves me, but I can also tell you that she required that I did better, that I do well, that I push myself, and that my mere existence is not good enough to be rewarded for random things. If I want something, I have to go out and go try to achieve that goal. Success for me was an ongoing process of self-improvement, not just existing. If you don't have to prove yourself to be a leader, who are you going to lead? What do you mean you just have to exist? What is this woman talking about? And if you go to the comments, well, let me pull up a comment. Well, I'm just going to pull up one. I'm just going to read one. He said, she don't know how much we needed to hear that. That's the first comment under there. She does not know how much we needed to. What did you need to hear? That you don't have to do anything, that you just have to exist and you're perfect and you're the standard and you're a leader without having to prove it. How is that useful? Like, how is that not crippling? She ends by saying we're highly blessed and favored. And that's something that I've said before in the dark hours of the night. I don't believe that fully. I think if we look at our journey in the Western world as Black people, it's very difficult to come to the conclusion that we're blessed and highly favored. And I think that might be me just looking at things differently, so you don't have to accept that. When you say generational wealth is more than finance and it's more than money, I'm going to go and say the capitalistic society disagrees with this. But I agree with this. But I also hope that when you say it's more than, you are not saying it excludes. I hope that you are saying it is more than in that it is that plus some more things. Like, I hope that that's what you mean, girl. Because that's what I mean when I agree with you. When you say it's more than something, you're saying it is that plus more. That's how I'm interpreting it. You said you wanted to build with this man. Or a man and whatever. How can you build with someone that you tell that they merely need to exist? What are they going to build? Are they building is the building here? By being there, are they building? Because it just seems like existing is enough, and by existing, they're a leader. So why would they have to do anything? What are you building? You're building it by yourself. You can give both of y'all credit for building, but you are going to build it by yourself because by him existing, he's the leader. He is the standard. So why would he do anything? While your message to these men is that they're the standard and all they need to do is exist, their message to you is that you need to submit. Remember that. Their message to you. Let's watch this last video.
I will give you the most amazing man. He will tap into all your needs. He will make sure you are protected, never cheat on you. All you need to do is be submissive to him. 90% of women will sign up right away.
What does submissive mean?
Submissive meaning in allowing him to lead in the relationship. Well, let me say this, because I think when people hear submission, they do think of dictatorship.
Right.
They think of doing as he says. They're thinking of this
His way or
power
the
struggle.
highway, yeah,
Yes. Submission, in my eyes, when it comes to relationship, is one, allowing that man to love you. What I mean by that is this. When a man is truly in love with a woman, he wants to do for her. He wants to provide for her. He wants to make sure she's good. If you don't submit to that, you're going to be in this energy that's, I got it. I can take care of it. It's not letting him love you. And in not letting him love you, you're carrying this unnecessary burden that's wearing you down.
The burden you're carrying that's wearing you down is you being an individual who has agency and integrity and purpose. That's what's weighing you down. Because the fact that his idea is that he's going to give you the perfect man who doesn't cheat, the fact that cheating, the fact that the dating world is so disgusting that cheating is like part of like this amazing new thing, like, oh my God, he doesn't cheat. Like, it's almost like it's not an expectation that he doesn't cheat. It's wild. Allow him to lead, but do you have to prove leadership again in this way? The idea that this man is sitting up here saying submission, people think about, when they hear submission, they think about this and they think about that and they think about control. Are they wrong? Is that not how you, when you say submission, aren't you talking about controlling the woman and making her do whatever you want her to do? Talking about submission just means allowing that man to love you. Then just say you want to love. No, you don't say you want to love. You said you want her to submit. That don't sound like love to me. That does not sound like love to me. Talking about it just means loving and caring for someone. No, you can say love and you can say care. And submission is a different word, and words have a meaning. And you know what submission means, so to request it, and then when you get pushed back, you say, oh, this is what you think of. Okay, are we wrong for thinking of it this way? Because it's definitely not love. Love is a very different word from submission. You can do for her is submission. Okay, no, you can do for her, you can provide if you want, but that does not mean she has to submit. You can protect her, that does not mean submission. We know what words mean, sir. So you doing this babbling foolishness, blah, 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 here and a blah, blah, blah there, doesn't actually say anything when you don't address the word submission in and of itself. People say to me, when I say submission, I mean control. That's what we believe. Are we wrong? And by the way, for the religious people, I can see you getting ready to type our message in the chat down there. It's fine. I don't. You know what submission means, and you just sit up here and lie to yourself and lie to other people about what submission means. You know what it means. Like, I'm not about to go back and forth with you. If there is anyone in the comments telling me that submission doesn't mean this and it doesn't, you're lying to yourself and I don't want to hear it. I literally don't want to hear it. Please don't write it in the comments. I will not be responding to it. You know you're wrong, you know you're lying, and you're lying not just to us, but you're trying to lie to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. You know that for a lot of these people, submission means that you are less than them and that they're in control of your life and how to steer it. It is that simple. You know what? I actually do think I'm done. But I can't be done without playing this one video that I got. Let's play one more. Because I did not really have a place to put this video, but I also want to include it. So let's just do one more. Let's do one more.
I don't respect women who are sexually liberated out of trauma.
That's not fair. That's crazy.
What does that
edit
mean?
That. Edit that.
No.
Like she's gotten
proud of their trauma.
Yeah, being proud of your trauma. Do you think that? So when a woman, because you said being proud of their trauma, as soon as he said that, is that what you think that it is? When a woman responds like that after she's been sexually assaulted or whatever, you think it's her being proud of it?
It's not being proud. It's
okay, I just want you to, because you said that.
But when it comes to the statement that Rico made, saying that I don't respect when women respond, like, I guess, with promiscuity, with out of trauma, I think that it's unfair for us to decide what someone's healing process looks like, because even when men and boys have been touched or things like that, one of the signs that you usually notice is that they're yes, it goes up.
Right.
And so that is a side effect. It is actually a symptom, and it's one of the key ways that your therapist is like, hold on, what happened here? And so for us to say, I don't respect this process, that's what healing looks like.
He said, I don't respect women who are promiscuous because of their trauma. Girl, who asked you? Do you respect women who are promiscuous and are not doing it because of trauma? Do you respect those women? So why did you make that distinction? Do you even respect women at all? Do you even like women? Just sitting up there looking dumb. Are you going to pay for these women therapy sessions? Did she ask you for respect? Why are you here? Like, for real, people aren't just walking around quote unquote proud of their trauma. They're affected by their trauma and they act in different ways because of their trauma. You know what's really annoying about this clip actually? The fact that these men all walk around begging for submission, talking about their kings and their leaders, and they don't even have the mental bandwidth to really engage in discourse around anything outside of their own ego. Talking about you don't respect, anybody ask you to respect nobody? Like, that is so frustrating to me. Not only is it frustrating to have him sit up there looking like Mr. Let Go, and the other one sounding like he sound, the one with the dreads girl, don't know his name, is ridiculous. It's even more ridiculous that these seemingly intelligent women that are miles ahead of these men in terms of their ability to articulate what they feel and break down what is apparently a simple concept around trauma and promiscuity, to them is wild to me, that these women would sit and share space with these men to attempt to educate them when they're literally just throwing mud at the wall and having a temper tantrum. Like, anybody have time for that? They need to go seek therapy for their low self-esteem and their ego being so easily bruised. They need to go get help for that. You don't sit up there with a group of men who will seem incapable of extending the smallest amount of compassion to women. You don't do that. The fact that this lady, smart move by the way, had to reframe trauma and promiscuity around men in order for them to get it is wild. While Mr. Let Go keep vacillating between his first stance and a new stance because he doesn't want to look idiotic, which too late because you keep coming up there, oh, they're proud of their trauma. Girl, what are you talking about? And why are these women sitting and sharing space with these men? Having Mr. Let Go flip-flopping all up there because he doesn't know where to stand. He just wants to shame women, but he doesn't actually have a point. So it's frustrating to watch this discussion. These women, again, are way too smart to be sharing space with these men. You know what? Go submit if you want. Your liberation is work. And while it pains me to play anything from Benjamin Franklin, while it does pain me, I'm going to end with this clip. And I don't fully agree with it, but I need to play it because I'm going to explain what I don't agree with. But there's a spirit to it that I fundamentally believe in. Here it is.
Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Benjamin Franklin.
Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty or safety. I disagree. I don't think you should give up liberty for safety, particularly when the safety is an illusion, girl. The truth is, in 2024, the likelihood of you being abused significantly increased when you are sharing space with a man in your home, right? So the fact that these men in your home are protecting you from the world is not necessarily true in 2024. So that part needs to be put out there. However, I disagree about giving up liberty means you don't deserve safety, because I think safety is everyone's birthright and you deserve safety, but please don't give up your freedom and agency in an effort to get some idiotic version of safety where these men are pretending like, oh, I am the protector because I have to save you when we're walking down a dark alleyway and someone jumps out on you when you both are gonna run. And the likelihood of that happening is very low. I don't know what these men are thinking, that you guys probably live in Gotham City or something. Like, I don't know what these men are talking about. But please, even if you want that safety and you want relationship, you don't have to give up so much of who you are in an effort to get it. Safety in this way is an illusion. It's a facade. It's a mirage used by these men to feel like they have something to contribute, when in truth, we're kind of pretty much equal. I mean, in terms of socioeconomic standing, like, a lot of us can't even change tires. A lot of us don't. Like, the things that you think men can do, a lot of us actually can, and you can actually pay to get it done if you can't do it yourself. You don't need men in your life. You want one, and that's okay. Reframe that in your mind and do something with it. That's like actually my opinion. It's not advice. It's just really annoying to see men weaponize their quote-unquote manhood and your need for manhood to coax you into these really toxic relationships where one man is saying, if I am dating you, you have to clean my house, wash my clothes, cook my food. Girl, what? No, absolutely not. Meanwhile, they are emotionally unavailable, academically, like just absolutely not able to engage at all. They are not financially stable. Like we are falling behind as men in literally all the important metrics in terms of economic development. And we should lead you. No, we're not leaders by virtue of our manhood. No, they are good leaders who are men and they are good leaders who are women. By virtue of my maleness, that does not make me a leader. And I'm going to end it there. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you again later. Peace. Bye.